Hi lovelies, and welcome back to another TikTok video. If you're new here, my name is Belinda's channel and this is Ballistic Gist. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notification so that anytime I upload videos you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the love and support. To those people that share my videos, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much for all the love and support. So lovely. So I came across the video on my For You page on TikTok and I thought to share with you guys where, these guys actually explained how affirmative action was actually birthed and was ended.
American colleges are biased against Asians. It's on record. Legal disclosures have revealed admissions emails filled with racist descriptions of Asian applicants. Our communities are right to be frustrated and furious, but the problem is racist admissions departments. Why target affirmative action? In 2014, professional litigator Edward Bloom...
And do not forget that this channel does not support any form of, bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We are just here for educational purposes, guys. We are just here to learn. Alright, lovelies, I'm just going to roll the clip. Please leave me your own thought and let's get into it.
The end of affirmative action was bought and paid for, and here's how. The anti-affirmative action group that sued Harvard and brought the case to the Supreme Court is called the Students for Fair Admissions. And they report that they have a membership of 20,000 people, like this grassroots effort, right? Well, let's look at their tax forms and see how much their members contribute. Okay, checking out the 990s here, clocking in at $2,600 in membership dues and around $1.5 million in all other contributions, including grants. So the Harvard Crimson published a piece last fall that details the large conservative philanthropic donors that are behind this supposedly grassroots effort. In total, the campaign has spent less than $8 million on its cases against UNC and Harvard, and a large amount of that money came from an organization called Donors Trust. Bear with me for a second here because this is where things get weird and awful. Donors Trust is what's called the Donor Advised Fund, which is one of the most increasingly popular forms of philanthropic activity. It's this incredibly unregulated mechanism where you, the donor, can put money into an account and then make recommendations for how it's spent and get immediate tax relief. And importantly, in how it distinguishes it from a normal foundation is that you're not required to even make a payout. And so while donor advised funds are a great way to hoard wealth, it's also a great way to have a dark money ATM for the political right because you don't have to have your name attached to it. All that comes in is a donation from this thing called Donors Trust. And so in addition to this case, they've also moved money to Project Veritas to the tune of 1.7 mil, millions to groups promoting voter fraud, and $120 million to over 100 anti-climate think tanks.
Oh no, friend. Oh no. It wasn't you. So if you watched my video right before this, you know that the Supreme Court has struck down affirmative action. And the case that came before the court was filed by Students for Fair Admissions that alleged Harvard, the University of North Carolina, and the University of Texas, through their affirmative action policies, were actually negatively impacting Asian American applicants. So you would think that maybe it was Asian American students that filed this case, right? No. The organization is run by Edward J. Blum. He's a member of the Federalist Society and a known activist and litigator against affirmative action. You can see here from his profile on the Federalist Society page, he's the president of Students for Fair Admissions, and his mission is to eliminate racial and ethnic classifications and preferences in school admissions. And this wasn't their first time suing. They also sued trying to say that Princeton was being unfair to Asian American students, despite the fact that enrollment of Asian American students in Ivy League schools far outmetrics any other marginalized group. Now, the striking down of affirmative action has a lot of implications, including likely the increased attacks against AAPI folks because people think that this was something that they did. But no, here is the face of the person who was responsible for the striking down of affirmative action. We are also waiting to hear from the military institutions how this is going to affect them as they use affirmative action to ensure diversity. And a diverse military is how we stay strong. We'll have more when we know more. Oh no,
Who has over a 50% chance of getting into Harvard? This week, we found out that African American students who score in the top decile, you can see right here, have over a 50% chance of getting into Harvard. If you score even in the 9th decile, you're still over a coin flip at getting in. That's over 10 times the regular admission rate. And as this brief points out, what's even more striking is that applicants who are African American here in the 4th decile, where basically if you're Asian American, you have less than a 1% chance of admission. They have over a 12% chance of admission, 12.8%, which is still higher than if you are in the top decile academically as an Asian American.
Reading is fundamental. Affirmative action is alive and well in college admissions. It's just that UNC and Harvard's policies violated the current standard under Bakke and Grutter. It's important for colleges to go back and look at the actual rulings.
American colleges are biased against Asians. It's on record. Legal disclosures have revealed admissions emails filled with racist descriptions of Asian applicants. Our communities are right to be frustrated and furious, but the problem is racist admissions departments. Why target affirmative action? In 2014, professional litigator Edward Bloom founded Students for Fair Admission, explicitly choosing Asian students as the faces of his campaign. The goal was to use our real grievances to advance an agenda that would return colleges to an upper-class white domain. Removing racial considerations doesn't level the playing field. The reality is, elite colleges are more than happy to admit non-competitive students. 17% of Harvard students are white legacies, children of alumni given preferential treatment. That's almost as much as the Hispanic and black student populations combined. Frankly, affirmative action has been a broken system. It underserved blacks and natives while helping Hispanics and Asians and giving the largest boost to white women. It needed a change, but now instead of being able to improve a broken system, we just have no system.
The oppressor has unfortunately won again. In case you missed it, Supreme Court, they overturned affirmative action. What does that mean? That means that colleges can no longer allow race or gender to play a role in admittance. Here is why that is a pivotal mistake. Well, number one, race has always played a factor in determining college admittance. What do I mean? College admittance is primarily based upon standardized testing. Well, standardized testing isn't actually a metric of intelligence. Standardized testing is a metric of resources. It's a metric of what caliber of education did you receive. Well, your education is based upon the public school system or private school system that you went to, primarily public school system. A public school system is based upon the resources of that public neighborhood. That public neighborhood is based upon redlining, and redlining has been based upon racism. Okay, let me give it to you in the inverse. If racism dictated redlining, who could live in what neighborhoods, probably put the black people and the brown people over here. And redlining dictates who lives in a neighborhood. Who lives in a neighborhood dictates the resources of that school, and the resources of that school dictate how much help you can get for a standardized test, and a standardized test now dictates who gets into a university. Well, then racism was always in who gets into and who cannot get into universities. So affirmative action was simply going to undermine the negative racism that started the college admissions process in the first place. Now, the last thing I'll leave you with is this, and this is the most ironic crime of them all. Legacy admittance is still a thing, which simply says if your parents went to this institution, well, colleges will factor that in to whether or not you can get into an institution. But guess who's more likely to have parents at an institution? White people. Because white people were more likely to get into colleges when it was unlawful for black people to be granted admittance. I'll leave y'all to think about that.
So lovely. It's like they said that Edward Blum is the president of the Students for Fair Admission, who actually played a very, very big role to the end of affirmative action, because this is a forum whereby you can just donate, like you donate money without even as in trying to make your name known and all of that. Like
American
you just donate, and with this huge platform, they played a very big role in the end of affirmative action, and this actually made people to like, okay, we are actually not the people that ended affirmative action. This is actually the platform that helped or played a big role in ending affirmative action.
The goal was to use our real grievances to advance an agenda that would return colleges to an upper-class white domain. Removing racial considerations doesn't level the playing field. The reality is, elite colleges are more than happy to admit non-competitive students. 17% of Harvard students are white legacies, children of alumni given preferential treatment. That's almost as much as the Hispanic and black student populations combined. Frankly, affirmative action has been a broken system. It underserved blacks and natives while helping Hispanics and Asians and giving the largest boost to white women. It needed a change, but now instead of being able to improve a broken system, we just have no system.
Because of the race thing that was played in there, but without them knowing that joining hands with this forum with Asian Americans inclusive, because they all think that black people actually benefit more than any other race without them realizing that no, they did not, because even removing and adding affirmative action has nothing to do with black people not getting admitted or Asian people getting more admission. And the articles that was even written made it known that the level or the percentage that was admitted during the affirmative action is now higher than the level that was admitted when affirmative action has been removed. This has caused the internet and a whole to keep on talking and trying to figure out a way to resolve all of this issue, which I don't even know what else they're gonna do now. But a lot of people were like, okay, removing affirmative action was actually for the best, it was actually for the better, but it's not giving room to others to get more admission compared to people of color, or will I call them less privileged people? I don't know. Guys, why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of these findings. Don't forget that this channel does not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We are just here for educational purposes, guys. Kindly share this video, subscribe, leave your commentaries, and if you're a returning subscriber, oh my goodness, thank you so much for all the love and support. And to my newest subscribers, my goodness, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much, and I will see you lovelies when I upload my next video.